Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Redneck Light. Today we're going to be installing new battery cables. The ones we currently have in the truck are all corroded and actually fried my last battery, which wasn't in good shape anyway. So we got a new battery, we got new cables, and we're going to get everything all set. Let's get started. Okay, so I ordered my new battery cables off of Rock Auto. And I like to get these battery cables that are made out of lead. It's a soft, malleable metal. They make them where they have stainless steel, but I've read online that they can break pretty easy. So I always get these. The old battery cables are looking pretty bad. I mean, there's not a whole lot of copper there left under the clamp. They're both the same color, so sometimes it's kind of, I got to remember which one's positive, which one's negative. And in another video I'm going to show you I need to rewire the fans, because right now the positive wire is actually going from the fans to the cab in a switch and then back out to the battery, which is a terrible way to do it. That's basically asking to start a fire. Pushing that much amperage all the way to the cab and back just gives more opportunity for fires to start. We're basically going to undo most of it. As far as I can tell, the only thing on here is the battery cables. That's these wires, this big set of wires on the negative side, and then this wire on the positive side. These I clipped quite some time ago. They actually went to little LED lights that were under the hood. They would spark and they weren't set up right from the get-go, so I just pulled all of that out and disconnected it from the battery because it was just dangerous. But if you don't have a big mess like I do, it's pretty easy. You just take your black wire, your negative cable, and that grounds to your engine block. I have a 460. This is where the ground is on my motor. It's also got a strap that goes down to the frame. That's to ground the frame as well. And the positive cable just goes to the starter solenoid on this terminal. And this should be the same for most any Ford motor of this era. The positive will go straight to the solenoid, and on the other side you've got your cable going down to the starter. Another thing I'll need to come up with is a battery tray. Almost any battery tray from a vehicle of this era is going to be all rusted apart. But this part down here is still pretty solid, everything structurally. The old battery wasn't held down at all, it just sat there. So what I'm going to do is take just a strap and kind of come around just to make sure it doesn't fall out or move around too much. I know they make reproductions, so you can always do that if yours is in much worse shape. Alright, so that's the positive wire. Pretty straightforward, just a bolt on the solenoid. Now, another thing I kind of like about this cable is it comes with a little extra lead here. So if you have a radio or fans, I'm going to use this for the fans probably. Up here you've just got the little square end and the bolt, so you can tighten this onto your battery terminal. Now you'll probably have to stretch this out a little bit to fit over the post, but once you fit it over, this is really soft metal, this lead right here. So if it doesn't quite fit at first, you can stretch it over the post. And there we have our negative cable tightened up to the block. One little side note, when you get ready to put your battery on, make sure this little square end is on the side that has the little nub there. So when you tighten this down, the square side is going to be held by this little piece right here when you tighten it. But we got our battery in place here. I'm going to actually do the right thing and use one of these little battery treatment things, which is supposed to prevent the corrosion that they put on. They put these on when you get these installed at like AutoZone or whatever, but I never bothered because I'm lazy. So we're going to give this a shot. Alright, so this is what I was kind of talking about. This battery cable, it's a little bit too small for this post, so we got to kind of work it on. Since this is the lead type of cable, it's really malleable, so it shouldn't be too difficult to get on there. You can also tap it in with a hammer just gently so you don't mess up the battery. Once you got it seated nicely like that, you can tighten that bolt, and it should be easier to get on later. Also, when you're installing a battery, hook up the positive by itself first. That way you don't get an arc. Now negative lead. If you're not confident that you hooked it up right, make sure to be careful when you do this part. Watch for any smoke. A little spark's okay, but just be careful when you put this on. So the negative battery cable, you'll have the opposite problem. It's a little bit too loose straight out of the box, so make sure you tighten it down well so that terminal will shape to the battery post and you get good contact. We've got headlights. I hope you enjoyed. Installing a battery yourself is pretty dang easy, so they'll install it for you at AutoZone or O'Reilly's. You pay a little bit more for the batteries over there because of that. If you're just working on an old car and you want to try to do it yourself, you can just get a battery at Walmart for a good bit cheaper. And even the battery cables, if yours are a little chewy and they're not tightening up very well or there's any frays, it's very easy to replace them, especially on these old trucks. So hope you enjoy, like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.